Hi, 7th and 8th graders. Happy Tuesday, second day of our extended school year program. And today we're going to do some listening practice. So what you will need is, and you can pause this video while you do it, you'll need a sheet of paper, and it can be just a piece of scrap paper if you want, and also a pen or a pencil, so something to write with. And what I'm going to do is read a very short article to you about sharks, since that goes along with our Under the Sea theme for the summer. I'm going to read that article to you, and while you are listening on the sheet of paper that I asked you to get, you are going to jot down notes. So you're going to be writing down things that sound important to you as I'm reading. So let's start out by how I would like you to set up your paper. One easy mind map that you can use is, like a mind map. I can't remember what some people call it, like a spider web or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, put the title of the article in the middle bubble. The title is called Sharks. And then you're going to make about 5 bubbles coming off of that center bubble. Now those bubbles need to be big enough for you to write down information. So don't make them too small. And I like this type of graphic organizer to take notes, because you can easily add extra bubbles. So once you get your 5 bubbles filled in, you're still hearing more important information. Add little bubbles and jot down more information as you go. And the more you practice this, the more you'll be able to write down as you listen. And eventually you'll have like the whole paper covered with bubbles and facts that you're hearing as a selection is read aloud to you. Now, one of the reasons that I'm having us practice this, it's important to be good listeners, right? That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, because we should probably listen twice as much as we talk. So sometimes it takes practice. And also, we didn't have final exams for 7th grade. For those of you who are now in 8th grade, for those of you in 8th grade going on to 9th grade, same thing. But normally, part of your final exam for English for 7th and 8th grade tests your listening skills, and you have short passages read to you and multiple choice questions that you have to answer after you listen to the passages 2 times each. So that's another reason why we practice this throughout the school year. And also, sometimes as you get older, in high school, if you go on to BOCES or to college classes especially, sometimes teachers will lecture. So it's important to be able to listen for important information when there's not really a lot of discussion and it's basically just the teacher talking. Actually, the online schooling is a perfect example of that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of talking back and forth unless you're doing a Zoom meeting or a chat on Microsoft Teams. For the most part, you're watching videos like this where there's not a lot of back and forth. So you just kind of have to train your ears so that you're listening and getting the important information that you need. So what I'm going to do is read this short article to you about sharks 2 times. So as you're jotting down information, if you start to get behind and you're still jotting one thing down and you know you're hearing a couple of more important things, instead of getting too stressed about that or overwhelmed, you know that you have another chance to listen to it. So whatever you don't get to write down the first time you listen, you'll have time to write down the second time you're listening. So really be working at trying to get as much information down as you can, but also know that this is, again, something that takes some practice. And if you can get something jotted down in those 5 bubbles that you put on your note page, then I think that's terrific. Before I start reading, before you start taking those notes, when you're taking notes, you do not need to write complete sentences. You shouldn't be writing complete sentences. You're going to write down just short bits of information. If you try to write complete sentences, you're not going to have time to write a lot. You'll end up missing a lot of what's going on as you're trying to write out the whole sentences. The notes are for you. They're just for you. And as long as you understand what's on the page, then that's what really counts. Spelling doesn't really matter. You can shorten words, abbreviate if you want. But again, just make sure that if you're going to use abbreviations, that they're abbreviations that are going to make sense to you later on when you need to use those notes. And speaking of being able to use the notes, after you're done taking the notes, so I'm going to read the article 2 times. You're going to be jotting down notes as I'm reading both times. Get at least 5 bubbles filled up on your paper. If you want to add more, that's great too. And then you're going to be able to use your notes to answer 5 true and false questions, which I will have on a Google Doc for you. So in this case, I don't have a hard copy of those questions. You'll have to go to the Google Doc and turn it in that way. So I'm going to stop talking about all of this now and actually get to reading the article. I probably should have found something on dolphins, and I'll look for something maybe the next time we practice our listening skills, because we are reading Island of the Blue Dolphins. But this particular article is not about dolphins, it is about sharks. So have your pencil ready and get ready to start jotting down notes as you listen. Sharks. Mention the word shark to someone on the beach, and you are bound to get a reaction. Sharks have been the most feared predator of the ocean. Sharks are fish. They have been around since the time of dinosaurs. They can be found in oceans all over the world, and they have also been found in some rivers and lakes. One difference between most other fish and a shark is that most fish have bones and a shark has cartilage. Cartilage is tough, but it is not as strong as bone. Another difference is that the shark is only able to swim forward, while most fish can swim forwards and backwards. Fish also generally have slippery scales, while a shark has rough scales that feel like sandpaper. There are many different types of shark. In fact, there are about 368 different types. The differences include color, habitat, behavior, and size. Sharks are also known for their very sharp teeth. They do not use their teeth to chew food. Instead, they swallow large chunks of food. They have 5 rows of teeth. If a tooth is broken, it is replaced by another tooth. Sharks are carnivores, meaning they eat meat. Sharks do not normally attack people. It seems like sharks attack people a lot, but the chances of getting stung by a bee or even getting hit by lightning are greater. Even so, experts say it is important to keep an eye out for sharks when swimming in the ocean. So I'm going to read that article to you one more time. You can continue to take notes. Another thing I forgot to mention, you don't need to write down every single thing that I say as I'm reading. Just try to jot down the things that stand out to you the most as being the most important information. Okay, here we go. One more time through. Sharks. Mention the word shark to someone on the beach and you are bound to get a reaction. Sharks have been the most feared predator of the ocean. Sharks are fish. They have been around since the time of the dinosaurs. They can be found in oceans all over the world, and they have also been found in some rivers and lakes. One difference between most other fish and a shark is that most fish have bones and a shark has cartilage. Cartilage is tough, but it is not as strong as bone. Another difference is that the shark is only able to swim forward, while most fish can swim forwards and backwards. Fish also generally have slippery scales, while a shark has rough scales that feel like sandpaper. There are many different types of shark. In fact, there are about 368 different types. The differences include color, habitat, behavior, and size. Sharks are also known for their very sharp teeth. They do not use their teeth to chew their food. Instead, they swallow large chunks of food. They have 5 rows of teeth. If a tooth is broken, it is replaced by another tooth. Sharks are carnivores, meaning that they eat meat. Sharks do not normally attack people. It seems like sharks attack people a lot, but the chances of getting stung by a bee or even getting hit by lightning are greater. Even so, experts say it is important to keep an eye out for sharks when swimming in the ocean. Okay, so now, kids, you can use your notes to answer the true and false questions on the Google Doc that I provided for you. I'm actually going to read those true and false questions to you right now, and then you can turn to the document and go ahead and answer them. In fact, if you want to, now that I think about it, no, you can't do that. Never mind. I'm thinking out loud, and what I was thinking did not make a lot of sense, so never mind. Okay, so anyways, when you open up that Google document, you will see these true and false questions. If you want to type T and F instead of typing out the whole word true, false, that's fine with me. Number 1, sharks are fish, true or false. Number 2, sharks have bones, true or false. Number 3, sharks have slippery scales, true or false. Number 4, there are 900 types of sharks, true or false. And number 5, sharks eat meat, true or false. So that's it for today, guys. Just go ahead and answer those 5 questions. I'd love for you to take a picture of the notes that you took and email it to me, but I'm not going to require it. If you know how to include a picture, there's a way to include it as an attachment on a Google Doc too. I personally don't know how to do that, so I wouldn't expect you to do it, but if you know how to do it and it's something that you can easily do, great. If not, those notes are for you, and I should be able to tell by how well you answer the questions if you did a nice job with those notes. So I will give you feedback after you turn your work into me, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye, guys.